Welcome back to Geeks Are Sexy. If you are looking for Michelle Davis, this is the week of the month she lets me take over, and you have to look at me instead of her. But the good news is we're talking about business success, entrepreneurship, and all the things you need to do to have a successful business and a successful life here in Las Vegas. I lied to you before. I told you all of our guests today were from native Southern Nevadans. Not quite true. Jason Garcia, my next guest, he's from Southern California. We're going to call that close enough. So internet, just leave me alone. I don't want to hear your comments. But Jason is with Windermere Real Estate. He's been in the business since 2008. Prior to that, he served in the United States Air Force as a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, and I'll let him tell you about what that is if we get to some time on that. But thank you for your service. As a fellow veteran, I really appreciate your service. You were in a much more intense and demanding career field than I was when I was in the Air Force. So thank you for all the things you did in the time you were in. And what Jason really loves to do is he loves to help his fellow vets and other families find their dream home and get moved into it. And also, Jason can help. If you're looking to sell your home in 2018, Jason can help you get top dollar for it, and you don't need to be in Las Vegas for Jason to help you. So welcome, Jason Garcia. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in real estate.
Sure. So, originally from Southern California, a year after high school, I joined the Air Force in 1999. In 2000, I had my twins, boy and a girl, that were born. So they're 17 years old. They graduate high school this year at Desert Oasis High School. And 9/11 happened. I was already in, so we prepared in my career fields. I called in airstrikes. So after 9/11 happened, we were preparing to go to Afghanistan. So I served in Afghanistan in 2002, Iraq in 2003. Decided to get out in 2005 and be a father to my kids and be able to be there and alive for them.
Very noble. And I used to tell all my guys in, and I still tell people, there's a right time for everybody to get out. It's important to find the right time for you to get out of the service and to take into account all the factors. Listen to your mentors, let them influence you, but when you decide it's the right time to get out, it's the right time to get out, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Exactly. So I got into real estate in 2008 in a prior relationship, and she was someone who did a lot of real estate. Obviously, Las Vegas, when I moved here in 2005, was booming. And not too long after I got my license is when the market crashed.
Down. I remember I was trying to sell my house at the time.
Yeah, and at that time, I was actually working for the post office. It was a government job, safe pay. I really wanted to be a support for my kids. I wanted to make sure that I was there. I had, I guess you could call it a safe income for them to grow. So when the market crashed, I kind of had to put that somewhat on hold, so I did it part-time until my kids got a little bit older, and the market started to turn. In 2015, I walked away from my government job and decided I want to pursue what I love to do, and I loved helping people. I love helping people find that dream home, sell their homes for top dollar, find investment property, something that can bring them residual income for the rest of their life. And since then, I really enjoy it. Like I said, helping people is a passion of mine. It's not something I look at. Yes, it can be great money, but really, being able to help families get into the home they want, being able to sell their home and buy something, bigger if their family grows, or put something, in their portfolio besides stocks and stuff like that to help them in their future retirement is a great thing. When it comes to renting, I have my thoughts about that, and I'll definitely get that to you in a little bit.
Okay, great. Well, I do. I have a ton of questions for you, but I didn't know your part of the story about working for the post office and doing that in parallel with doing real estate. And I see a lot of people doing that. I have clients who are kind of working a passion job, and whether it's their own business or working for someone else, to pay the bills while they grow their passion job or their passion career. And my question for you is, what was the approach you took to grow that passion career, right? Sales and revenue are everything. No matter what your business is, if you're not getting sales, if you're not getting revenue, it doesn't matter, right? So what did you do? What was the strategy you adopted, the approach you adopted to go from starting in the business in 2008, working a government postal service job? How did you approach growing your business to the point where you could step away from the other job? Because that's a question I get asked all the time.
Sure. So it really was, I guess I could say, a process. So the relationship I was in ended at the end of 2010, and it was very toxic and not great, environment for myself and my kids. And I really decided at that time, I I need to focus on myself. I really needed to strengthen my mindset. I really needed to find out what I wanted to do. At the time my kids were 11, they were starting to get older, and I really wanted to kind of branch out, because when I had them, I was 20 years old. I was in the military. I was just trying to figure out how to be an adult myself, and having to raise kids made it, a lot. And I sacrificed, I guess you could say, sacrificed a lot of career goals early on, because I wanted to make sure I was there for him, growing up. And so, I really started just reading a lot more, getting into a lot of mindset training, seminar, things to really build up, I guess you could say, that courage. As the market started going, I started taking more classes, educating, and what I learned was that, although there are a lot of part-time agents, there's no way you can make a career out of it, and there's no way you can serve people in the best capacity if you're not doing it full time, because you're limited by the hours after work or weekends. And those clients deserve full-time service. They deserve to be there for them when you need them, and you can't be. And so
I'm gonna hold there, because I want to say to the audience, if you're thinking about buying a house or selling your house this year in 2018 or any time, I want you to think about what Jason just said about, as a client, you deserve that full attention from your real estate agent. And if they are working part-time, if they're not giving, let me put it a different way, because there are probably plenty of part-time agents who do a good job, right? I don't want to belittle them.
Absolutely.
Make sure you find an agent who works for you, works with you, and gives you that time you deserve. So go ahead.
And to go into that, and the things I learned is that the statistics are pretty staggering. So there's about almost 17,000 licensed agents in Nevada, and the National Association of Realtors statistics show that about 50% won't sell a single home. So what that tells you is they have the license, but they maybe not do the business. So the question is, do you want to buy a home or sell a home with somebody? You might be their first deal, their second deal, and that's scary, because you can end up losing the house that you were in contract with because of a mistake that agent made. It could cost you thousands of dollars on the selling end. So it's really important to do your due diligence, because most people, the statistics show, that don't interview agents. They get someone because a friend, they say the average person knows 10 agents. So it's a friend, it's recommended, but they don't interview them. So they don't know the difference between someone who's knowledgeable and someone who's not.
How many deals have you done?
I did 50 last year.
50 last year.
50 last
and you've been
year.
doing this since 2008.
Yeah.
50 last year. So again, think about that. How many deals has your agent done before you sit down and say, yeah, I want you to be my
Absolutely.
agent?
Take a look at them online. Zillow. Do they have a profile? Can you find them anywhere? You want people who are educated, because again, buying a house or selling a house, that's the biggest emotional and financial decision you make in your life. No matter what you own, your home is the most expensive thing you own. So you really want a professional to take care of it. You wouldn't go to a lawyer that practices once in a blue moon. You wouldn't go to a doctor to perform a surgery who does it once in a while. You want those people that are professional. And the only way you're going to see the difference, interview agents.
Okay, interview your agents. So you brought up renting. Let's talk about renting. Let's get your pitch in for your feelings on that.
Absolutely. So, places like California, New York, listen, the prices are so extreme, it's very difficult to purchase. Las Vegas is so affordable that you should be buying.
And rents are going up here and getting very high.
Rents are going up. So let me use this as an example. Okay, you pay $1,000 a month in rent, and say you've been renting for 5 years. So basically, you've taken $60,000 of your hard-earned money and you've given it to someone else. And that rental property is their investment, is their retirement, is their residual income. I know that everybody believes that they work hard for their money, so why not put that money into your own family's future, your own family's retirement, your own pockets? You get the tax write-off, you get the appreciation. There is no reason to keep renting if you can buy.
I mean, yeah, if you're giving away money at Jason R. LeDuc on Twitter, just drop me a note, and you can give me your $60,000 if you're just going to throw it away. So, one of the things I do want to talk about: nobody works completely alone. And realtors are the face of a transaction. Real estate agents are the face of a transaction.
Right.
But there's a whole team behind them. And being an Air Force guy, you'll understand this. Tell me a little bit about how you build the team around you and how you work with the team around you. Because we like to get those leadership topics in, since that's the company I run.
Right. Very good question. And that's another reason you need to interview agents, to make sure this person isn't just going to a lender, to a title company. So your team is, your lender, your title company, your home inspector, things like that. Not just the agent. Because if the lender lender doesn't know what they're doing, you could lose the loan. You know, if the inspector misses something, it could be something major, you know, mold, leaky roof, stuff like that. So with my team, I set the expectations up front. The people I work with, I'm loyal to because they know my expectations and they meet them. They are an extension of me, so to speak. So they are available for my clients, they are available to answer questions, and they do a great job.
And how did you find this team? Because like building any team, typically we have a few false starts in the beginning. How did you find this team? Who are you looking for? Who do you work best with?
Sure. So overall, some of it is trial and error. You know, you give people the opportunity to perform, so to speak. And if they fail to perform, then they're just not the person that I'm looking for, because I have my expectations. If they can't meet them, it's okay. It doesn't mean they're terrible at their job, so to speak, but I want my clients to have the best service. I want them to be an extension of me. So they need to be available, they need to answer questions, and they need to, you know, live up to the standards that me and my clients set for them.
So you interview them and you work with them and you give them a chance to perform. And
absolutely.
And you know, some are top performers right out of the gate. Some are not so great, and we let them go. And then there's some people in the middle we need to do a little development with, but we can get them there to that top performance level too, right? So.
Exactly. Just because they're new in the business doesn't mean they're bad. You give them that chance, especially if they're hungry. If you see that passion, that's what I'm looking for. Not necessarily someone who's doing it and they treat people like a number or a paycheck, which is what a lot of people do. And you know, I focus on service. If I give great service, the money's going to come. You know, I'm going to get referrals from people because they feel good about what it is. Buying and selling a home should not be stressful. It should be something that you enjoy because you're moving on to something bigger and better.
That's
well, you know, and it's a great feeling. That I mean, that's worth more than the money.
That's great. I love the focus on your clients and the focus on their families. It's not just a transaction. It's just not just a paycheck. It's not just a number to you. So in the time we've got left, if somebody's thinking about, every year I hear that this is the year millennials are going to move out of their parents' houses. We'll see if it is. But if we've got some young viewers who are thinking about buying a home this year, what are some of the things they should be doing now to prepare themselves to get ready to come see someone like you when they're ready to buy a home?
Sure. So the two things most people are afraid of why they don't buy, okay, it's down payment and credit. Okay, not a lot of people check their credit. So sometimes, you know, they say, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to work on my credit and later on, but they don't really actually talk to a professional to find out if there's an easier path.
Okay.
And so it's important actually to talk to me even ahead of time so we can devise a plan with the lender team, if you're not ready now, to save up money for that down payment, to find the different type of programs that you'd be available in. And there are programs that help you with down payment.
There's a ton of first-time home buyer programs, and if you'll send some of those to me, we'll link them up in the show notes when we do the recap on this. So.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, we got a couple seconds left. Tell our viewers how they can find you so that they can go buy their first home or sell their home or buy another home if they're interested in that.
Perfect. You can contact me directly at 702-468-6419. You can also find me on YouTube, Jason Garcia at Windermere Excellence. You can also find me on Zillow and Facebook at Jason Garcia 702. I'd love to hear from you.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Thank you for being here. We will be right back with Amy Biani.